This right here is 3 years old. After I made this, 3 years of my life have happened. Let's get into this.
Fortnite Battle Pass. I just shit out my ass.
Just so you know, I don't have every single card on me, but I have all the cards that I could find, and this is a really big amount of all the cards I made, so this may as well just be all of them. Starting off is the wolf, and the ability says, for every wolf on the bench, this attack does 10 more damage. So what I designed this as if you have a ton of these, you can use the bite attack for 2 energy, and then do a pretty good amount of damage for a low cost. And if you can't already, this was based off the Pokemon TCG, and I made this sort of looks like a mini set, and yet trying to be its own thing. So I don't really know what was going through my mind when I was making this, but it was something, alright. It was something. Next up is Steve, and you might wonder the types. The one on the left is the type of the card, and the one on the right was the weakness. I don't know how I remembered that, but to this day I did, and for 1 energy, you do 40 damage, so I don't know, this card's okay. Next up was the bee, and one thing I wanted to do a lot is have the bench be more than just a safe spot. I wanted special conditions to happen. So it says all your opponent's bench cards are poisoned, so yeah, that's what I kind of wanted to do when I made this, just make the bench a lot more prominent, but this isn't real, so I don't know what I was thinking when I made this, if I'm going to be completely honest. And now we have the final Earth card of the set, and it just does 30 damage for 1 energy, and that's about it. I actually put other types into this game, which I don't know why, but for 1 energy, you do 200 damage, and when you use Explode, this card dies. I don't know what I was thinking, because 1 energy, 200 damage, the Pokemon card game allows you to use 4 copies of a card. Surely nothing can go wrong, right? Surely nothing can go wrong. Which I actually don't dislike that much, because it had an ability where you just search for a potion, and then you shuffle your deck. Honestly, I think the ability's pretty nice, but other than that, this card's mid. Like, super mid. I actually had an archetype in here, and these were the Illagers, so it was basically just an entire archetype based off the Minecraft mob, and yeah, that's about it. If you played this with Evoker or Pillager, this attack does 30 more damage, and 120 for free energy isn't bad, so definitely worth it. The Husk, I feel like, was a really weird card. 60 for 2 energy, and every 2 turns this card does 10 more damage, so it isn't really that useful. I don't know why I made this ability like it, but I have no clue. Now the zombie had an okay ability and an okay attack. This card overall was just okay. And same for this one, 100 HP, 2 for 70, pretty alright. Now the slime's gonna actually come up later, but 2 for 60, honestly, it's an alright card, but this is more confusion than anything else, because I don't know what I was thinking when I made this. And I had an entire archetype in here as well. Vindicator, we've already gone through. Evoker, just the standard 120 HP rare. And then Pillager, another 120 HP rare. But if Ravager was in your bench, this card does 30 more damage and free energy for 100. And then with the Vex, if Evoker is in play, you draw 5 cards. All these cards had synergy, and I don't have the Ravager on me, but the Ravager was a super good boss card, which for every one of them on the bench, you did 10 more damage, and I believe the attack did 130, so that was 170 for 4 energy or so. So this archetype, I'm actually not that disliked much. Like, I actually think I had something good going on when I was making this archetype. And honestly, I could see myself using this if I make another card game. Next card was Enderman, for 70 damage, 2 energy, 130 HP, rare, pretty alright card. Now the Ender Dragon, I don't know why I didn't make this a super rare, but 3 energy for 100 damage, you search for an Enderman, then you shuffle your deck, 150 HP. Honestly, this card's not that bad. considering a certain item card I have here later on. Next is Shulker, 80 HP, open, 50, discards med. Next up was Wither Skeleton, 120 HP, Soul Stab 90 for free energy. Honestly, it's a alright card. Next up was the Spider, 90 HP, 40, okay. The Endermite, okay, 2 for 70. For every Enderman in play, this card has 10 more HP. And this card was really weird. Now we have the fire cards, and this is where I actually start not disliking the game. Free energy, 120 damage, pretty alright. Now there's Piglin, free energy, 70 damage, okay card. Now Blaze I like because all fire cards do 30 more damage. And I made this stack unintentionally. I made this ability stack, so it was a very overpowered ability, but I actually like this card more than my friends think. Magma Cube I actually don't dislike. All slimes in play are fire type, and I showed slime earlier, so it does have some synergy. The entire fire type has some sort of synergy, but not much. Next up is Hoglin, 2 for 60, okay card, as all the others are. Now Strider, I gave one of the best abilities in the game. Choose a fire card, that card has no weakness. With the next couple cards that are coming up, this was overpowered to an amount that I wouldn't put in any other card game that I made. Now is the Wither, Death, 100 free energy, under 60 HP, and this card takes fearless damage from all attacks, so it may as well just have 190 HP. And there's another card that goes with this that is gonna be very weird to explain. The Wither second form. Not only does the art look weird, there's a E, there's a ability. What's going on here? First off, the attack, 200, 5 energy. Your typical big attack, big damage, but big cost. And why is the E there? Well, I had a mechanic called Enhancement, where you put the original form of a card, and then you have the other form. Basically, Pokemon Evolution. And when you enhance the Wither, your turn ends. Basically, the Mega Evolution of this game. Which, looking back, actually wasn't that bad of an idea. Now we have Iron Golem, 140 HP, one of the other enhance cards of the game. And its enhancement does not disappoint. 170 HP, free for 130, pretty good card overall. Now, Silverfish. There's a bench in Pokemon, so you could just stall for 15 turns straight, have 200 HP, 180 attack for 1 energy. This card was overpowered. Now, I didn't playtest this, but looking back, how? Now we have Phantom, 100 HP, Glide for 72 energy, and every time this card's attacked, put this card in your hand. Probably the most annoying ability in a card game history, because you attack with it, all damage you have, all tools you have, anything bad that could happen, goes back into the hand. So this card was really freaking good in the right situation. In this card, I give it, this card is weak to water cards only, and it was a dual type because what I explained earlier, it was a steel and fire type, 2 steel energy, 1 fire energy. Redstone Golem, really weird card. And now we have the water types, which is actually my favorite type because it doesn't really have too much bad going for it. 2 for 60, pretty alright card. The turtle I like because you search for an earth card and you shuffle your deck, and it isn't an earth type. 120 HP, 2 for 70. Honestly, I think this card's pretty good. Now this guy, when you attach 2 cards to this card, you draw 3 cards. I had 2 cards in this game. Not surprising, but I put 2 cards in my mini set. So, Yeah, this was basically a really good card. And 1 for 50, not too bad overall as a draw supporter and as an attacker. Polar Bear, free energy, 100. Honestly, I don't know about this card. I just think it's okay. Now, for some reason, I made this card debatably better than its enhanced form because 110, 2 for 60, all stadiums are removed. Yeah, this card may have been a little too strong. Now, this card was your typical enhancement card. 4 for 150 HP, the E on there, enhancement, and when you enhance Guardian, your turn ends. Now we move on to the other stuff. Stone Sword increased damage by 20, Iron Sword increased damage by 40, Diamond Sword increased damage by 60, and Netherite Sword increased damage by 80. Yeah, these were the tools, so pretty freaking good with anything. So these cards were meta. We have a Potion of Harming, and after you attack, you do 20 damage to a card. Pretty good. The Potion of Healing was the opposite, where your active card recovers 30 HP. Pretty good. The Potion of Poison made one of your opponent's cards poisoned. Really simple. The Furnace. For this turn, you can attach 2 Fire Energy cards instead of 1. Yeah, really good for an item card. Yeah, this card was broken. We have the cartography table, and you search for a stadium, and you shuffle your deck. Really simple. The smithing table was really good because you search for an enhancement card, the E from earlier, then you shuffle your deck, but your turn skipped. Really fair, if I'm gonna be honest. You know the Pokemon supporters where you just draw free cards? Yeah, I made that an item, and you can play 4 copies of the card. So yeah, draw a 5th of your deck in a single turn. What was I thinking? Next up is TNT, and you do 20 damage to free enemies. Now, enemies were basically your opponent's side of the card. So you could just do 20 damage to 1 to their active, and then 20 damage to 2 of their benched. Yeah, this card was good. Now, dies? Now, dies? This card actually isn't that bad. For 1 turn, you choose a card. That card becomes any type you want, but the weaknesses still apply. So let's say Steve. So you can make this an electric type or a fire type, but its death weakness still apply. This card wasn't that bad. It was just balanced, which is something that this game did not have at all. Next up is the Totem of Undying. When a card dies, bring that card to half of their maximum HP. So you have a wolf, that card dies, you get 50 HP. Really strong, that's why it's a super rare. Next up is a Potion of Water Breathing, and for 2 turns, your side takes 20 less damage from any water cards. This card just hated water types. The entire game hated water types, really. Next up is Milk, and you ignore all autocoms for this turn. Really weird. Now, this card had another Earth search option, Beehive. You search for an Earth card, and then you shuffle your deck. Really good. This card is the last item card of the cards that I have. Electric cards can't die this turn. Made electric cards really good, especially with a certain card that I said was really good. Yeah, Creeper was essentially the best card in the format, because you have this, you have lightning, you do the attack, you don't die. Basically the best combo in the game. Next up is the first stadium. Desert Temple, all fire and electric cards do 40 more damage. I don't really know why I had this do this sort of thing, but it was good. Now, Ocean Monument, this is the last card I have, thankfully, and it's a rare. Water cards require 1 less energy to attack, so any 1-cost water card you have could attack for free. Any 4-cost water card could attack for free. Any 3-cost water card could attack for 2, any 2, 1, etc. This card was really good, and that's where I end off everything. Honestly, what do I think of this card game? I think it's pretty bad, but it was fun to make when I did make it. What's in this box?